Welcome to this explainer on ACIM Lesson 173, Review Lessons 155, 156. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here with us today for this focused breakdown. If you've been feeling just completely exhausted by trying to manage every tiny little detail of your life, or maybe you're just craving a much more grounded sense of inner peace, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're putting all of our focus right onto this specific review lesson, and we're going to unpack the really profound psychology and, more importantly, the practical applications hidden right inside these words. Okay, let's dive into this. We are looking at two core review lessons today. Lesson 155, which is, I will step back and let him lead the way. And lesson 156, I walk with God in perfect holiness. Now, at first glance, I know, these might sound like your standard, traditional religious affirmations. But as you're going to see, they're actually incredibly powerful psychological tools designed to literally dismantle your fear and anxiety. Honestly, they represent a fundamental shift in how you interact with the entire world around you. To really get a grip on how this works, we have to look at the exact structure of Lesson 173. So I'm going to read through this beautifully structured repeating text, and I want you to really notice the rhythm here. God is but love, and therefore so am I. 155. I will step back and let him lead the way. God is but love, and therefore so am I. 156. I walk with God in perfect holiness. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Our ultimate goal in this explainer today is to make that profound rhythm universally understandable, something you can actually use in your everyday life. Notice how those core lessons are essentially wrapped in that repeating central thought. But to make it super practical, we've got to decode some of the language, starting with that main anchor. Now, what's really interesting about this is how we translate that word love, right? When the text says God is but love, it is so easy to immediately think of love in the everyday human sense, like romance or affection or attachment. But in this context, love is something way, way more fundamental. We're talking about an unshakable inner peace. It's the ultimate reality where fear, the ego, and literally all of our illusions just completely vanish. So when you follow that up with, and therefore so am I, you are literally telling yourself, my core identity is made of this exact same unshakable peace. It's a total re-identification of who you are, stepping away from being a chaotic bundle of anxieties and moving toward a really profound calm. Okay, we also need to decode another pretty highly charged word here, and that's holiness. When Lesson 156 says, I walk with God in perfect holiness, we really need to strip away all that stuffy religious jargon. In this framework, holiness just means your inherent, totally unshakable self-worth. It's your natural state of absolute sanity. Actually, the source text literally equates letting go of our illusions with simple sanity. So being holy, it isn't about being perfectly behaved or never making a mistake. It's just about recognizing that your value is intrinsic, it's baked in, and it absolutely cannot be threatened by the crazy, chaotic world around you. The text does this brilliant thing where it contrasts two specific states of mind, walking ahead of truth versus stepping back. I want you to think of this like a driver analogy. Walking ahead of truth is basically like trying to fiercely control the steering wheel of your life. And hey, we've all been that anxious, white-knuckled backseat driver of our own lives at some point, right? Operating entirely out of fear, trying to force specific outcomes, just bracing for every single pothole on the road. The text actually calls this madness and illusion. But on the flip side, stepping back is releasing that death grip on the steering wheel. It's having the humility to admit, you know what, I don't actually know the absolute best way forward. And then letting a higher truth, that unshakable peace we just talked about, take the lead. It's moving from the driver's seat over to the passenger seat. The text calls this simple sanity. And honestly, it is deeply relaxing to finally realize you don't have to figure every little thing out all on your own. And this brilliantly illustrates how Lesson 156 builds directly on that exact idea. Think about it. Once you actually step back and let truth take the wheel, what happens next? Well, you realize you aren't just sitting there all by yourself. You are walking alongside a really profound, protective peace. I walk with God in perfect holiness. That's not some arrogant, boastful statement. It's a statement of ultimate safety. It basically means that as you navigate your day, whether you're stuck at work, dealing with family drama, or even facing a real crisis, you are constantly accompanied by your own inherent self-worth and a profound sense of calm. You aren't just wandering through the world completely exposed and vulnerable. You're walking in perfect sanity. Which brings us right back to the anchor of this entire review lesson. This is the bread of that sandwich structure we looked at earlier. God is but love, and therefore so am I. Now, the reason this gets repeated 3 times in the exercise is simply because our minds are just so quick to forget. I mean, we step back for a moment, we feel a tiny bit of peace, and then boom, we immediately jump right back into the driver's seat the second something stresses us out, right? This line is your anchor. It's there to remind you that you don't just experience peace. Your true identity is literally made of this exact same peace. Repeating this essentially sandwiches all your daily activities right in the undeniable truth of who you really are. So, getting down to the really crucial point here. How do we actually put this into practice today? The source text gives us some very specific guidance. First off, whenever you feel that familiar urge to micromanage or control a situation, just pause, take a breath, and mentally step back. Now, regarding how long and how many times you actually need to do this throughout the day, the text gives us a gentle instruction to simply think of him a while each day. Practically speaking, in the context of these reviews, this typically means carving out a dedicated 5 minutes in the morning right when you wake up and another 5 minutes at night right before you go to sleep, just to read that full repeating text and really let it sink in. But, and this is just as important, you also want to take these flexible little moments throughout your day. We're talking just a few seconds every hour, or honestly just whenever you start to feel stressed out, to reset your mind. You don't need to sit and do hours of meditation. Just give yourself these frequent, gentle reminders to step back, let go of the control, and reflect on that inherent peace of yours. To bring this all full circle, let's look at those main lesson statements one last time. I will step back and let Him lead the way. And I walk with God in perfect holiness. Let yourself really absorb these 2 foundational truths today. You really don't have to fight the world. You can simply step back, let peace lead the way, and recognize your own completely unshakable worth as you move through whatever challenges might come your way. I want to leave you with this somewhat provocative thought today. If you truly let peace lead the way today, like if you actually stepped back and totally released your need to control every single outcome, how would your life change right now? Just imagine the immense weight that would finally lift right off your shoulders. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. If you found this helpful and you want more structured, clear insights exactly like this, please make sure to give this explainer a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out, and it ensures you absolutely won't miss our next deep dive. Have a truly peaceful day out there, and remember, just step back.